So we know that p and q are positive integers. We also know that their ratio is less than 1, which we could translate onto a number line as p is closer to 0 than q is. Now they're asking which of the following is definitely greater than 1. So if you know that taking the reciprocal of a fraction would turn you into something greater than 1, then you can solve this fairly easily. The correct answer is E, because E is the reciprocal of p over q. And just to give you a couple of examples, the reciprocal of 2/3, which is a fraction, is 3/2, which is 1.5. It's more than 1. The reciprocal of a quarter is 4. So again, reciprocal of a fraction takes you to the other side of 1. So if you happen to know that, then you can just pick E and move on, but that's not very satisfying because then you didn't learn anything from this question. So let's fully analyze the other 4 answer choices so we can actually learn something from this right after the intro. So answer choice A takes the ratio p over q and takes the square root of that. And we know p over q is between 0 and 1. What happens when you take the square root of a number in that range? Would that take you past 1? Well, when I square a fraction, that means I'm multiplying it times itself. And in general, when you multiply by a fraction, that brings you closer to 0. But here we're not squaring it, we're taking the square root. We're doing the opposite. So if squaring it would bring you closer to 0, surely taking the square root would take you farther away from 0. So would it take you past 1? It would bring you closer to 1 than it was to 0, but will it take you past 1? Well, I know that if I take the square root of a number that's greater than 1, that would bring me closer to 1. And if I take the square root of 1, that would keep me at 1. So if I take the square root of something smaller than 1, it would bring me up closer to 1, but never past 1. The only way to get past 1 with a square root is if you were past 1 to begin with. So 1 is a very special number in the context of exponents and roots. And maybe one way to think about that is that anything to the power of 0 is 1. So 1 is kind of that center, if you will, of the world of exponents. Now, just to give you an actual example in case that's helpful, if we take the square root of a quarter, that gives us a half. So that is closer to 1, but it will never take you past 1. Even if I take the 100th root of a quarter, that still won't take me past 1. It will just bring me exceptionally close to 1, but still from below 1. So that's why answer choice A is wrong. Now with answer choice B, what did they do? They kept the numerator the same, it's still p, but they squared the denominator. So now we're looking at p compared to q squared. But remember, we know that p and q are positive integers, so if you're squaring the denominator, which we know is a positive integer, you're making it even greater. Unless it's 1, but we know it's not 1 because we know p and q are positive integers, and we know that q is greater than p. So maybe p is 1, but q is at least 2. So what happens to a positive fraction when you make the denominator greater? The fraction gets smaller. That would bring it closer to 0. So that helps us eliminate answer choice B. Now answer choice C is kind of similar because, again, we're making the denominator greater. We're doubling the value of q, which makes the overall fraction smaller, which again brings us closer to 0. So C is gone. Now answer choice D is probably the most interesting wrong answer in this question. It takes the reciprocal, just as the correct answer did, but then it also squares the bottom. And we have to ask ourselves, what does that do to our fraction, which, before you square it, would be to the right of 1? All right, q over p is definitely to the right of 1, but what about q over p squared? The reason that one is interesting is because it could be to the right of 1, depending on the exact values you choose for p and q. There are scenarios where q over p squared will be to the right of 1, and that's probably the reason why this answer choice is the most commonly chosen wrong answer. But does q over p squared have to be to the right of 1, or can we imagine a scenario where q over p squared would end up to the left of 1? In fact, could q over p squared be exactly equal to 1? Yeah, if q is p squared, just as an example, if q is 4 and p is 2, then answer choice D would be exactly 1. And what about a scenario where q over p squared is less than 1? We just need to think of an example where p is less than q, because that was given, but p squared is more than q. Can we think of such an example? Sure, how about 2 and 3? 2 is less than 3, but 2 squared, 4, is more than 3. So answer choice D could fall on either side of 1 depending on the exact values we choose for p and q, and that's why we can eliminate answer choice D. So to recap, with these 5 answer choices, the only one that we can say must be to the right of 1 is the reciprocal of p over q, which is answer choice E. If you found this video useful, go to quantreasoning.com for a lot more where that came from. You should also click that like button and let me know in the comments below what you'd like me to make future videos about. And of course, if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and do that and click that bell below so you get notified about future videos. See you next time.